Welcome to Biology My Passion. I am Soumya Harikrishna. In this video, we are going to learn about transgenic animals. So what are transgenic animals? Animals in which their genes have been manipulated to possess or express some foreign genes. They are called transgenic animals. They are specifically some kinds of genetically modified organisms. For example, glowfish. So in this, we have transferred a gene from sea animal. So now the glowfish is expressing a gene which is not its own. It is from another organism. So that is called a transgenic animals. Not only fish, now we have developed rats, rabbits, pigs, sheep, cow, all these type of transgenic animals for our purpose. Now, why should we develop all these animals? What is their use for us? They are widely used in different research programs. So let us discuss their uses. First, normal physiology and development. Scientists are using transgenic animals to find out the expression of a particular gene. What is the effect of a gene in our body? Or how is it regulated? Or how they are affecting our normal function. For example, in our body we have insulin-like growth factors. They are called IGF. IGF-1 and IGF-2 are very important for the embryonic development or post-embryonic development or postnatal development. So if I want to study their effect, I need to alter their normal functioning, right? So we are introducing genes from other organisms which can alter or change the effect of this particular growth factor. Then what is the outcome? So from that we will identify what is their exact role in growth. So that is one method. Next is the study of diseases. We are still doing researches on getting proper treatment for many diseases. For example, cancer or cystic fibrosis or Alzheimer's. All these diseases we have not got proper treatment even now. Researches are still going on. Hopefully we will get the answer within a few years. So in such cases, can we study this on patients directly? No, it is not possible, right? So we make animal models for certain diseases. So if I want to study about the cancer, or if I want to test some drugs which is effective for cancer, or if I want to study what are the physiological changes happening during cancer or cystic fibrosis, I will induce that disease into the organism first. Maybe I will induce cancer into mice, or I will induce cystic fibrosis into another organisms. Then it will be easy for me to apply my medicine or my strategy, whatever it is, and then I can study. Once if it is successful, then only I can try it in human beings, maybe a small group of patients. Right? So for studying diseases, we have made many disease models of transgenic animals. Another application of transgenic animals is obtaining biological products. When we are making medicines for different diseases, for example phenylketonuria or cystic fibrosis, we need to add certain biological products also in that medicine for the effective treatment. So from where will we get biological products? We already learned we can make insulin using rDNA technology using Escherichia coli bacteria. The same way here also we can manipulate, or we can give the gene to a particular organism to produce the biological products that we need. For example, alpha-1 antitrypsin is a protein which is required for the treatment of emphysema. If you remember, emphysema is a disease affecting our lungs. Alveoli surface is decreasing, thereby decreasing the efficiency of oxygen exchange. Right? So for the treatment, we are using alpha-1 antitrypsin. Now, transgenic animals are producing this protein. Apart from this, sometimes we get other biological products also. For example, you know that how important is human milk or mother's milk for an infant. Sometimes some infants are unfortunate, they don't get mother's milk. Maybe mother is having some disease, or she's undergoing some treatment, or she's not in a position to feed the baby. So during that time, we naturally depend on animal milk, especially cow's milk. But it is not a complete substitute for human milk, because a mother's milk contains a human protein called alpha-lactalbumin. That is not present in the cow's milk. So the baby is not getting enough nutrition. In this case, what did they do? In 1997, scientists transferred this alpha-lactalbumin gene into a cow, and that cow was named Rosie cow. In the milk of Rosie cow, every 1 liter has 2.4 grams of human alpha-lactalbumin. So Rosie's milk is as good as human milk. So that is another application of transgenic animals. They are also used in testing vaccine safety. We know that we are nowadays producing a lot of vaccines using rDNA technology. But can we directly use them on human beings? No. We have to make many clinical trials to test their safety. That also not only short-term effect but long-term effect also we need to know. So first we are making the studies in rats. Especially polio vaccine was tested in transgenic mice. The same way we will be testing many different vaccines in rats first. If that is proven to be successful, now we will be trying it on monkeys, which are very closely related to humans, right? Primates. So again, if it is successful, maybe pilot studies can be conducted in small group of humans. The same way, for chemical safety testing or toxicity testing, before introducing some chemicals into humans, maybe for treatment or for anything, we need to test their safety. But all the chemicals may not show a reaction or a side effect immediately. Their side effect may occur after 5 years or 10 years or 15 years. Can we wait such a long period of time for getting the result? No. So in this case, what do? We produce transgenic animals. We introduce some genes into them which will make them more sensitive to the chemical that we are testing. So normal animal may take a long time to respond to it, but the transgenic animal is very quick in responding because it is highly sensitive. We made them sensitive. So now we can study the effect of this particular chemical within a short period of time, and we can find out their safety. So the methods used in both these are more or less same. So these are the various uses of transgenic. Let us now discuss the ethical issues associated with biotechnology. In biotechnology or genetic engineering, we are manipulating the genes. Sometimes people can misuse it. And also after manipulating, there can be unpredictable results, or it can have unpredictable consequences on the environment. So there is a need of strict monitoring of the researches happening in this field so that nobody is misusing our technology. For that, Government of India has set up an organization called Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. Actually, what is the role of GEAC? They are scrutinizing all the researches going on in the field of biotechnology in India, especially with regard to genetically modifying organisms. So they are responsible for checking validity of GM research, whether it is useful for the mankind, and also safety of the GM organisms to release for public services. Okay. Now, another burning issue in this field is about patent, or rather biopatent. Patent is a right which is taken by a company or a person for some novelty, right? So in this case, some companies are taking the patent of the genetic research using some genetic materials, plants or biological resources which have already been in use by traditional farmers or indigenous people in some part of world. Biotechnology, we want biological resources or biological diversity. Who is blessed with that? Our country is blessed with that. So, whenever we are doing the biological research, we have enough resources. And there are mentioning about different plants, their use and their medicinal properties in our folklores also. This can be taken away by any other company, especially multinational companies or other countries, by slightly altering and claiming it as novelty. One such incident happened in 1997. There are actually 200,000 varieties of rice grown in India, and 27 types of basmati rice have been documented in India. And our farmers are growing basmati rice for hundreds and thousands of years. And basmati rice is well known for its special aroma and unique flavor also. Then in 1997, what happened? one American company took the patent of basmati rice. How? They did some crossing of the original basmati rice grown by Indian farmers with some semi-dwarf varieties, and slight changes were made. Very insignificant change was made, and claimed that it was a novelty. And through US Patent and Trademark Office, they got the patent of it. Again, there were efforts to patent other herbal medicines in India like neem, turmeric, etc. Nowadays, the government is very cautious and it is taking enough actions in time so that our traditional bioresources will not be taken away by others. Another issue in the field of biotechnology is about biopiracy. So biopiracy means what? The biological resources are utilized by multinational companies or other organizations without proper authorization from the countries or people involved and without compensatory payment. So this also has to be dealt with properly in order to avoid all the problems existing in the field of biotechnology. If you like my videos, please like, share and subscribe to my channel, Biology My Passion.